here talking more liposuction, more fat transfer, and how to get rid of that belly without a tummy tuck. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Meanwhile, I'm going to be sharing stories of success and all kinds of good stuff from our patients. What's up, everyone? So you guys jump on here. Listen, if any of this information is something that you think is valuable to your friends and family, I would highly appreciate if you were to share that information. On Instagram, you can tag the individuals that you think might be interested. Facebook, definitely hit the share button. I think that there's many people out there that you may not even think they're interested in it, but they struggle with their life. And you never know what a person's struggle is. However, if you're struggling with something, then it's likely that another person either is or has struggled with the same stuff. And particularly like these big bellies. Hey, what's up, Stacy? Hope you guys had a happy New Year, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate at all. Just glad you're doing well. Any deaths on your record? I am in Utah and I've been looking to schedule. Deaths? No, we have not had any deaths at My Shape Lipo. So from, in my research, what I've found, and keep in mind, a lot of the information about that kind of stuff is kept secret and, it's hard to find out. You may be able to find lawsuit stuff on people, but a lot of the stuff that I hear, the stuff that's in the media, really is the easiest stuff you can find, right? When you research deaths, from my research, I found that the deaths that come from liposuction are typically plastic surgeons that are doing it under general anesthesia. The tumescent technique under local anesthesia, which is the way that we do it, I haven't found any deaths from that. However, there are, Miami is like the death capital of the world for plastic surgery. It seems like there's, all the stuff that I've read about, bad stuff is coming out of Miami. And they have these mills where they're offering cheap prices, and, they're running through a bunch of people, and they're using untrained staff to care for these people, and it's just a numbers game. You just get in as many people in as you can, and that's it's interesting because when you run a high volume clinic like that, the interesting thing that I found, because I have been in high volume clinics, but when you do high volume, it's more practice. So in theory, if you have the right mindset, the individuals who are involved in a high volume clinic like that, if their goal is to make as much money as possible, then they're going to act a certain way. If the goal is to develop and become the absolute best that they can become and offer the absolute best service at the lowest price, then it's a different mindset and there's different actions that'll be taken. So it's important that you understand what you're getting yourself into from that standpoint. But deaths, liposuction, it's not that common that people die. It's usually it's usually the plastic surgeons that are trying to push different limits. Like they do liposuction, they do facelift, and they do arm lift and a boob job all in once. When you try to push the limits that far, that's when your body just can't handle stuff like that. And sometimes, and you never really know the individual, because some individuals can handle a lot more than other individuals. So from your standpoint, the most important thing that you can do is take care of yourself and be as healthy as possible and eat the best diet as possible, so your body is in the best shape to get the best possible results. That's what you can focus on. So you should focus on preparation. So prepare yourself for all the potential problems that could happen with liposuction. For example, it is known that it is possible to get blood clots from not only liposuction but any procedure. And let me explain just really quick what a blood clot is and how you get them and why they form. So a blood clot is literally it's and you've seen this before on your skin when you're bleeding. The blood starts to get like kind of almost like a gel-like material. It's clotting. And so that clotting is meant to block the blood vessels, and our body does this on purpose. The body clots the blood, so it blocks the blood vessels, so then you don't bleed anymore. Our bodies naturally do that all the time. So anytime you cut the skin, your body will naturally try and clot the blood in that area to stop the bleeding. That's great. It's good that happens, okay? So that's a good thing. However, when you cause a lot of trauma to the body, so liposuction, for example, or any other surgery, when you cause a lot of trauma, your body circulates a lot of clotting factors. So it's clotting factors is the certain hormones and factors and things that signal our body to create these clots. So when you have a lot of trauma, like any surgery or anything like liposuction, the body is trying to clot the small blood vessels within the belly, which is what it's supposed to do and what we want it to do. However, the problem becomes a lot of those clotting factors circulate throughout the entire body, and some people are more prone to create clots in other parts of the body. So the big clot that we're really concerned about is called a DVT, or a deep vein thrombosis, and it's where a clot forms in the calf area. And so when that forms in the calf area, the problem is that when people are sedentary too long, they're not moving around, the blood from the lower body, it doesn't circulate. It only circulates with muscle contraction and movement. So if you're not moving around and you're sedentary, you're laying in one position for extended periods of time, your blood is pooled. It's staying in the calf area and doesn't get pushed back up to the heart until you move. So when it's staying in that area, it's possible that this clotting factor can send a signal, and the blood can pool in that area. And when that happens, it can create a clot. And that clot sometimes can break off, and now the blood vessel that goes from the vein that goes from the leg, it goes all the way up the leg and up to the heart. And when it goes up to the heart, it's called a pulmonary embolism. When I say pulmonary is the lungs, so it goes up into the lungs first, and then it can be circulated through the heart. So you gotta understand that these clots, it's not a bad thing per se. It only becomes bad when it gets into that situation. So what can you do to protect yourself and prepare? So the biggest thing that you can do is simply walking around. What's up, Kale? Simply walking around, moving around after the procedure will significantly decrease your chances of getting a blood clot. The other thing that we know works is beneficial is wearing compression garments. So when you wear compression garments on the calf area, so like the socks, those will essentially it manually compresses, which pushes the blood back up. And so particularly when you're moving around, it's beneficial to reduce blood clots.
How do we get on blood clots?
So it's funny. Someone asked if we've had any deaths in our clinic, so I was kind of addressing potentials. And so my suggestion was that it's important to understand what the risks are and try to prepare to reduce the risks. And that's the only thing you can do is prepare to reduce your risks.
Yeah, so listen, this is one of those procedures that is not without risk. I mean, bottom line is anytime that we do something major or somebody does something major to your body, you always have to consider all of the medical risks. We try and mitigate all of those risks and make sure that we screen you appropriately, make sure that you're a good candidate for this procedure. It's a very non-invasive procedure. It's a lot less risky than going under general anesthesia, a lot less risky than a tummy tuck and some of the other more invasive procedures. This is just liposuction. We suck out fat, we sculpt your body, we use local anesthesia. It's very safe.
There's a Spanish one, let's see. Quita la piel
Flácida.
That's
Yeah,
fat,
so what she's asking is, I would assume she's probably referring to a tummy tuck.
Oh.
Do you take off the
skin.
loose skin?
Okay.
Bueno, TC o TCCH.
Yeah.
Bueno, quiere decir es que no cortamos ningún tipo de piel, ¿ok? Lo que tenemos con nuestros resultados es el piel se regresan donde estaba antes de se engordó y no es necesario cortar el piel. Eso es mi cuñada. Sacamos un montón de grasa. Ella parece que tenía 2 bellies y no cortamos ningún piel con ella. Hicimos un Abdominal 360 con ella, pero hicimos eso antes de cambiamos cómo se hacemos.
So what did you say in English?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what I said is, yeah, we don't cut any skin at all. We do not do tummy tucks. This is my sister-in-law, and it looks like she has 2 bellies. And I did not cut her, and we just did liposuction all the way around.
So the skin, it always retracts back. And our bodies are amazing. And it's not like we're doing anything magic here. It's just, there's specific techniques that we do that enable your body to tighten up even more. And really it's a matter of taking out the fat in the proper way. The skin always retracts back. That's what you're able to do. That's your body's own capabilities. Now the problems become in the differentiation between one person's what they're able to tighten and another person's what they're able to tighten is just basically, it's obviously your history, what you've gone through. Maybe you've had a bunch of babies, or maybe you've gained 100 pounds, lost 100 pounds. It's different than a person that hasn't done that. So your skin has different qualities. When it stretches out that much, the bonds break. And that's when when the bonds break, you'll get these stretch marks. And the stretch marks lead to the inability for the skin to tighten up as much. However, it still tightens up. Some of these individuals that have really loose hanging skin before the procedure, the skin tightens up and it still tightens up. It's just maybe not as tight as someone else who didn't have that loose skin.
Yeah, so you've got to have realistic expectations. Obviously, we've had some amazing results, and most of our clients experience amazing results, and their skin returns to where it was before they got bigger. But sometimes you can have just a little bit of loose hanging skin. There are additional treatments that you can do. There's a lot of skin tightening laser treatments that work out really well. The Venus Legacy machine is one of those machines that we have that I absolutely love. It works really, really good. So we do liposuction on some of our clients, and then they opt to do the Venus Legacy skin tightening, and it works really, really well in tandem.
And then we also do, for our procedure, for our purpose with the liposuction, we utilize a smart lipo laser in conjunction with the liposuction. And the studies have shown that you can get up to 57% more skin tightening when you use a laser versus liposuction as well. So, quick question, they said, what's the ideal candidate? Okay.
Yeah, what is the ideal candidate? Well, what we can say is...
What does ideal even mean?
Right. Listen, if you are concerned about the way that your appearance looks, if you've gotten fat in certain areas and you're really wanting to treat them, you're the ideal candidate. Now, are there some other things that we consider to make sure that we mitigate a lot of the risk? We absolutely do. Part of that is making sure that, you're pretty healthy, okay? That you don't have any major heart conditions, that you don't have any, medical conditions that could predispose you to have some bad outcome, okay? So everybody is an ideal candidate, right? But some people are just a little more ideal than others. How's that?
How about this one? If you have fat and you're healthy, you're an ideal candidate. But look at this individual right here. We work on people that are not the ideal candidate by anyone else's measure. However, what I found is that by taking on these big challenges, the rewards are comparable to the level of challenge. So, these big bellies, it's a lot of fat to get out of there. They have loose skin, stretch marks. There's a lot of challenges. However, the results are equal to the level that we're working on. And so when you ask what's the ideal candidate, the plastic surgeons will tell you need to be your ideal weight and just have a small little bulge in one area. That's total bullshit. So I would never say that. Okay, but that's what others did. But I'm just repeating what other people say. So that's what they say, but I'm telling you that's not true. There is no such thing as ideal candidate, because you'll see some of these people that may not fit into this ideal category, but yet the results are phenomenal. So what makes who's to say that they're not the ideal candidate and these other people are not the ideal candidate?
So some of the disease states that I can think of just right off the cuff, like interstitial lung disease, maybe cystic fibrosis, somebody that has a significant congenital heart disease, those types of things are what we really have to consider and weigh out. Is this appropriate to do versus, is there a propensity for something to go bad? But aside from that, almost everybody else is an ideal candidate if they have excess fat. Because I don't know about you, but last I looked, I didn't look like Tom Brady in the mirror. I mean, he's like, what, mid-40s and super lean. He looks great. I like him. Yeah. I'm still stoked that he's on every Sunday throwing balls. So.
Okay, how long does it take to recover?
That typically depends on you. So we've had some pretty interesting cases over the years. I personally did a guy smaller area, the front of his abdomen. He went back to work that day. I've also had people that have taken a couple of more days, 3 or 4 or 5. Typically, I tell everybody 3 or 4 days is usually a pretty good rule of thumb on how long it takes to get back to at least being productive in your job.
Right. So when you say recovery process, let's break this down a little bit more in that our bodies go through the healing process, and that takes time. Your ability to get back to activities is different because you can still be healing, you can still be sore, you can still be swollen, you can still be achy, you can still be bruised, but you can still be functional. And that's the advantage of this procedure is that patients are able to get back to stuff fairly quickly. Some people are the next day they're able to get back to work, and other people it takes a little bit longer. Obviously, there's a wide variation in what people are capable of doing, but the healing process, you're going to swell up, you're going to have bruising, you're going to have leakage of this fluid. All that's expected, right? Your wounds need to heal. All this stuff is something that has to happen. It's just a question of how quickly does it happen, and that's going to be vary from individual to individual. And I would venture to say that the people that heal the fastest are the ones that have the best health and nutrition. So your body works as, like, if you think of it like building blocks. And so your body takes the stuff that you intake and it breaks down into these little particles, and then it uses those building blocks to rebuild. And so if you have the right building blocks, then your body can rebuild quicker. However, not everybody eats right. And so that's going to be the differentiation. And you can't hide from these things. There's no hiding. You may look healthy, you may feel healthy, but if you've been doing stupid things and eating the wrong food and you've been doing that for a decade, you're not going to hide from it. It is what it is. And it's not my fault. It's whatever has happened to you in your life. And the only way to change that is start changing the habits. And you can supplement, taking healthy vitamins, but changing your habits is really what we like to talk about. It's really important to change your habits. If you can change your habits, then you're going to get long-term benefits.
Absolutely. And it's the first of the season, so everybody should be changing some habits, right? We should have all thought about that at some point. Wrote down a list of goals that we want to do. You got to have good habits in order to reach those goals, whatever they might be, whether it be physical, mental, your career-wise. You've got to create a regimen. You've got to stick to it. And, liposuction is not different. You have to get committed to your health. We want people that are ready to change their life, that they're so tired of being fat and out of shape. I shouldn't say fat, heavier, obese, out of shape, not being able to enjoy life, hiding in pictures, hiding in clothes, not being able to tie their shoes because they get out of breath. I mean, all of those things. We're looking for those people that are ready to change. And once they're committed to change, this is one of those things that helps springboard that change and spring you forward into a new you so that you can be healthier and a better you in the future.
Yeah. Ultimately, you have to make the decision. A lot of people say things take a long time or they're hard, but it's really, it all comes down to just a simple decision. And if you make that decision, then you'll change the way that you think. And if you change the way that you think, you can then materialize different things in your world.
So Brenda asks, what about age? Trevor, this is an interesting question, obviously, because at some point, everybody that has had this issue or this looking review of their body, they think, oh my gosh, you know what? After I hit a certain age, it doesn't matter what I look like. Is that true?
I think it's total crap.
Absolutely.
This is something that we have been told as humans since I was a kid, that we are supposed to get old and deteriorate.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that that's true. I don't personally believe that. I think that there are things that we can do, just like maintaining your car, that you can maintain your body and prolong the healthy period of your life. Now, I'm not saying that we don't eventually deteriorate and die. I think obviously all things do. However, we can maintain our bodies, we can maintain our minds, and do things that maintenance type activities and disciplines that will extend the life that you have. Not only the life, but extend the quality life that you have. Who cares if you live to be 100 years old if you're in a wheelchair since you're 60? If your quality of life sucks, then you don't want to be alive anyways. So there's no point in being 300 pounds and struggling with everything that you do and living a long life. There's no point in that. So we want to get people back to the place where they can live again and live. And what I mean by live is do all the things that you want to do. So if you say, I want to go out and, climb a mountain, that you're capable of doing that. And if you're not capable of doing that, then you're going to make excuses and you're going to say, oh, I'm too old for that. My friends always say that. I hate hearing that. Like I'll be 45 this year, and I'm like, I certainly don't believe that I'm old, and I hate hearing people my age tell me that they think that they're old, because it's just, I don't think it's necessary. You don't have to feel that way.
So where I was going with that is, socially it's acceptable once you get married and have kids to develop a dad bod, right? Mm-hmm. Like everybody says, oh, well, they got married, have the kids. Oh yeah, that's commonplace. And then as you age, you hit these other decades, and people start to look at you, and you're like, oh yeah, you know what? He's 60, or he's 70, or he's 80.
They expect it.
Yeah,
social norms.
So it's the social norm. But bottom line is, like, we work on people. You had an 80-year-old that you did. I've had a couple of 70-year-olds that I've done. So I mean, and you've had many 70-year-olds. Yeah. I mean, listen. If you want to get healthy, and if you want to live your best life, you want to go ahead and continue to be active for a lot more years, then it's absolutely one of those things that can help you do that. I had this conversation with this guy who was an MMA athlete, a lot of like contact sports as a younger age. He had some bad knees, overweight, and I'm trying to troubleshoot what's going to help relieve the stress from his knees. Mm-hmm. And he gave me every excuse under the sun of why he can't exercise. And I said, well, you know what? You should try some liposuction. Right? And he was totally offended because guys don't talk about liposuction, right? But that would totally change the way that, his body would respond, right? There wouldn't be as much weight on those joints, mm-hmm. and it'd be good for him. So, yeah, long story short, there's not an age limit. If you're a healthy person and we have a certain amount of fat that we need to take off, and you're concerned about those particular areas, give us a call, let us know, send us some pictures, and we can discuss. It doesn't matter your age.
Have you heard the term biological age
mm-hmm.
used?
Yep.
So they've been using this, and they're doing like DNA testing, which is measuring what they're calling this biological age. And the funny thing is, I have the Wii Fit, from Nintendo.
Yep.
And it tells you, based off the various testing, what your age is, your Wii Fit age. So this biological age is comparable to that, and it's going to be based off of things that are not your chronological age. So therefore, you could be chronologically 70 years old, but have biological age in your 50s. And so that's kind of what's more important, in my opinion, is that if you're an 80-year-old that looks like you're 90, that's not a good situation, and you probably wouldn't do well with liposuction. However, if you're an 80-year-old that looks like you're 70 or 60, or maybe not even looks like, but biologically you're healthy, and your body functions at a higher level, then why not? Why not do things that are going to make you look and feel better?
Hey, I got a question about that whole Wii thing and how they do those stats. Is there an Asian bias in that? Because the Asians, right, created that program?
Well, just kidding. So it's actually the tests that they do. It's a balance board,
uh-huh.
and so they do different balances. It's just different tests that measure it's really the strength and balance that you have. So, and then they check your weight as well. So they.
I remember those Wii's. Super cool. Technology's so old now. I'm just kidding. Now everybody's just sitting down playing the Xbox? Not the Xbox. What does everybody play now? Are you not a gamer?
I'm not a gamer.
Dude, I got a couple of buddies that are in their 40s and they're still gamers, and I laugh every time I go over to their house.
Let's see, so
they're missing out on a lot of life.
And Andrea Karma was given a quote for your full body. However, your main concern is you're saying panned area, but I'm assuming that you're talking about the pannus area. Is it possible to do that first, or do I have to agree to do all the areas I was consulted for? So this is kind of a dilemma that it's funny, we were just talking about this today. In the past, what we've done is I allowed individuals to choose their areas, and I just did whatever they said. And my mindset at that point was, it's your money, your body. I can tell you what I think it's going to turn out like, and if that's acceptable for you, then I'm happy to help you. Now I shifted and I changed the way that I was thinking because those people got crappy results, and I don't like producing crap. I don't produce crap. I produce amazing. So what we did is we stopped allowing people to make stupid mistakes and stupid decisions for themselves. And when they were at that range, and typically this is a cost thing, and to me it doesn't make sense to spend any amount of money to put yourself in a worse situation or an unnatural look to your body. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now that's my opinion. Now we were considering the option, okay, well, what if these very extremely large, like 320, 350-pound individuals, we can't do what we normally do. It's excessive. So we can't, we couldn't do in one procedure, we can't do the whole front of the abdomen because we'd remove, like 30 liters of fat. So we thought, like, what if it's possible if we did the lower portion first and then came back into the upper portion? And so in doing that, it's going to create a phase of it looks weird. And so for your question, if you were only concerned about this lower belly here, well, what happens when you take just a lower belly is then you have all this fullness up here. And now keep in mind, when we take any fat, we take a lot of fat and we get very aggressive. So the goal is to get that fold, that pannus to go away completely. But the problem is if you're left with all this fat up above, gravity still works on you, just like everyone else. Mm-hmm. So if you have all this fat up here, it's just a matter of time when the belly is going to fold over and hang down. It's just a matter of time. It may not happen right away. It's a matter of time, but it will happen. So it's not natural to do that. I mean, not natural looking. And it would create situations, unless you were planning on getting the rest of it done, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, I'm totally with you. We started, go ahead and show the picture of my sister-in-law in comparison to this picture right here. So before Trevor and I joined back up, we were both kind of doing our own thing, and I was super aggressive with her, and I did an abdominal 360 all the way around, and I took out a lot of fat because I knew I could take care of her at home. I really pushed the limits. She's got one of those pannuses. This is where we've evolved as clinicians. Trevor comes to me and he says, "Hey, I'm doing these really large body habituses, and this is how I'm doing them." And he was just treating the front of the abdomen. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's a pretty novel idea. Now, if I would have done that on my sister-in-law, she would have, and then come back on the second procedure and done the lumbar hips and lower back, her results would be even more pronounced than they are here. I'm super stoked with what I was able to get right here in one setting, but we've advanced and we've realized this is the best way to approach this. And so we started working just on the front of the abdomen, and then once you get the front of the abdomen, just like this right here, this particular patient did the front of the abdomen. See how flat that is? When she came back and did the left handle hips and lower back, I don't know, she looked like she was 19. I mean, it just shrunk it super down, and I don't know, like, it was amazing. It was amazing.
It's like a different person. Right?
Yeah, so we've evolved and we've started doing these techniques so that we can get these types of results and give you, a look that nobody else can give you. There's not a cosmetic or a plastics guy that would say, "Oh yeah, I'll just do liposuction on you." They would have said, "Oh no, you need multiple, interventions. You need, some tummy tucks. You need some skin, whatever, blah blah blah." But listen, we can do this. You just have to listen to how we go about it, because we played with this medium for a long time, and we know what works.
And you see, the thing that I've learned through my experience is that when you try new things, you get different results. And so I'm open to do things, and I'm trying to see when I do these stuff. I have to be able to imagine it first in my mind. If I can imagine it happening in my mind, then I can do it in reality. And so I have to understand mentally how this is going to play out. And and mentally, when I think about this, if we take only the lower abdomen, so I've done this for a few people. We took the lower abdomen, and it almost looks like an ice cream scoop, where you scoop it out, and it's gone here, but still full up here, and it looks weird. It doesn't look natural. So I didn't want to do that to people. That was pretty much it. So now clearly there might be some people that would benefit from it. Like I said, some of these larger, like these, 300, 320 pounds, 350 pounds, whatever the case, those people may be taking out the lower portion first and then planning on coming back and doing the upper portion. But there's got to be a plan to complete the whole thing. Otherwise, it's in physics doesn't work out for you. Gravity is going to continue to pull, and so whatever mass you have, we can even calculate this stuff. It's going to pull. It's just a matter of time where your skin gives up and to the battle, and it starts to sag even further. It's already happened naturally to you, so you understand this process, and it doesn't happen overnight. Your belly didn't fold and hang, right when you got fat. No, it stayed in tight, and then eventually your skin just gave up, and it starts to stretch out, and it starts to hang and sag. And so you see these pictures of these elongated belly because it's been elongated it's been sagging down for decades. And this is what happens naturally. This is just physics here. So we're trying to solve the problems.
And as you can tell with this one, this is one of our favorite. Listen, all of our clients are our favorites. This is the results on this particular client is one of my favorites, just because you can see this is only a couple of months afterwards, and we don't do tummy tucks.
Right.
And look how well that skin has come back, and look at how flat that is.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, you would think, a lot of people would say, oh my gosh, you need a tummy tuck, obviously.
She's going to have an empty sack of skin.
You're going to have a big sack of skin hanging down, but look how well that did. It just came back really well. So, and listen, I wanted to point out too, listen, we're in this together. I oftentimes tell you while you're on the table, and we're discussing, you are a direct reflection of how we work and how, our product ends up. And so we're in this together. We want to give you the best possible results that we can, and we want you to do your part in the aftercare so that you can, walk around and you can have confidence to show everybody. We don't want to leave you disfigured at all. And that is our primary concern.
So to reiterate that, I'm just going to say right here on Instagram, this young lady made a comment. This is a Sona. She says, the best thing Trevor did for me is her 360 lipo. So, afterwards, that's what we want to hear. When we want to hear that we changed your life. And not only that not only because obviously the procedure itself it'll change aspects of your life, but I want you to then be inspired and motivated to change other aspects of your life and continue to improve and grow, because just because you look better, if you don't change the way that you think, you don't change the way that you act, you don't change your habits, that you're just going to recreate the same problems. So if we can motivate you to make other changes in your life, you might actually get different results. Brenda says she's only 50. She's asking about age.
Oh,
you're not old.
You're not even close to being old yet.
50 is the new. I'm gonna say out of personal. 50 is the new 30.
Yeah, there you go. Unless you smoke.
Yeah.
If you smoke, then you got to add on like 10, 15 years to that. So don't smoke. So the question is, if you do abdominal 360 and want to do a BBL, do you add all of the fat to the butt?
Your butt is like, imagine it's like a water balloon, and your skin is like the skin of a water balloon. And when you fill it up, it's going to expand out. And when it expands out, there's a point when the water balloon pops. Okay, your butt's not going to pop. But what happens is there's so much pressure pushing back onto the fat because it just won't expand out anymore. There's so much pressure that the fat it won't go in anymore. It flows back out. Now, another interesting idea is that the fat has been shown to, when you have compression on the area, that more fat cells die. So that's why we make the recommendations of not putting pressure on the area. So no sitting or pressure on the area no pressure for 2 weeks and limited pressure for 2 months. So that's putting external pressure. Now, if you overstuff the area and you put too much fat in there, it's internal pressure that's putting out, and it still collapses the blood vessels. It still has limited results. So if you put too much fat, you get more fat that dies, which means that you end up getting more loss of the fat and smaller results. So there's a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot where there's enough pressure, but not too much. And so when you're trying to go as large as you can on the butt, There's only so much that you can go in one procedure. Now it is possible to do serial fat injections. So you can do one procedure, inject the fat, get whatever results that you get, and then go about your life for 3 months, and then come back and do another procedure and inject more fat, and then we get more expansion, because over that short period of time, your skin has been allowed to stretch out and accommodate the new body, the new fat, the new butt, and then it's stretched out enough so that now we can go back in there and stretch it out even more.
I want to clarify though, because in the news, there's been a lot of like discussion about these fat transfers going into the muscle, injecting the fat into the muscle, causing a pulmonary emboli and causing potential harm for the patient. So we do not do any intramuscular injections. We stay superficial outside of the fascia layer of the muscle, and we just build it up. Okay. So no, we don't like to risk your health. You know, obviously we know that you have a lot of stuff going on in life, probably have kids, family members. Like, we don't want to jeopardize that. And so like, we're going to give you the best medical care that we can provide. Okay.
Miss Takita French Proby, if you have 3 kids, all C-section, you have a lot of scar tissue. So that's not an issue. You know, almost, you know, I don't say almost all, but a lot of the women that you have that you see up here have had C-sections. So, you know, C-sections are very common. The scars in general can be a problem. However, you know, we've dealt with them thousands of people. So we've learned lots of cool techniques to get around the scar tissue and work with it. So the C-section scars in particular, they tend to be right at where the belly folds at the bottom. So we have special techniques that essentially go in there and we cut the scar tissue, which basically it lifts it up. So typically with the scars, what they do is they'll pucker. So they get adhesions down low, and then when you get fat, the adhesions stay, they won't come up, but everything around it gets swollen up around you. So if we clip the fibers of the scar tissue, it allows it to kind of flatten out. And then we take all the fat surrounding the area, and it has a much smoother look to it. Now, scar tissue can be a challenge to get out, but again, we've worked hard to develop the techniques to break through that stuff, and it's typically not a challenge, but it is possible that it could be an issue.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say, as far as the visual goes, whenever we're doing those C-section areas, when it flattens out, you would be amazed at your appearance in a dress. Because oftentimes, females, it might be you out there, when they put on that dress and maybe a little form-fitting, you know, all of those excess rolls create these canyons, and people are very self-conscious about this. So after having done liposuction throughout here, and we flatten out where that C-section scar is, you look amazing in the dress.
Okay, so this is kind of weird. I'm not sure. Is this that they said I called to get information and to see you, and someone called me back, and I paid $100 and I was given another doctor's office. Well, that's bullshit. No, you know, our $100 our consultations are done through forms. So if you go to our website, you can click on the link for the paid consultation. You fill out the form, and it goes obviously directly to our office, and we call you back.
What's her name?
I can't read that.
Lois Lane?
Lois
I don't know.
Lane.
Is that Superman's girlfriend? Hey, Lois, so if you call the office tomorrow, talk to Brandy, or I think Susie will be in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll both be in there. We'll be doing procedures though. Get somebody on the phone, and we will absolutely talk to you tomorrow, okay? So I apologize if that's what happened. It doesn't sound like something we would do. I mean, that's just...
We wouldn't send you to another doctor's office. That something must have happened.
Yeah, so
let's see. Someone asked about, can you talk about pricing? So the way we do this, because everyone is different, that you know, there's no set pricing. So we need to do consultations to see pictures of you and determine a plan of specifically what needs to be done. Obviously, on some of these larger individuals, it's not the same plan as a smaller individual. So we have to put together a specific plan for you. And that's where we need to do the consultation. So if you schedule the consultation, we can talk to you about the pricing. We have our generic pricing. We base it on the area. At this point, is a surface area, which is about the size of your hand. It's $1,299 per area, and yeah, so it's going to be based on the area. So the larger individuals are going to have more areas, which would accommodate the more work that we're doing on that area. So get to consultation. We have our paid consultation, which expedites you, so we can get the consultation quickly, and you'll meet with Kayla or myself on the phone, and you just got to send pictures in. And we do our free consultations as well, and the free consultations are booked out for a few months at this point.
So Blooming Floor has a question about diet. What type of diet do you take, or do you have after the procedure to help, give you the best recovery and chance for probably fat transfer absorption? Listen, Blooming Floor, we have a Facebook group. In the Facebook group, it's a private Facebook group. There's a lady named Lexi. Lexi is a lady that we work with, and she has posted a lot of information about diet. Okay, so if you want, ask one of the girls online. You go to the My Shape Lipo support group, request to be a member. You can jump on there and you can search all of this information. It's readily available for everybody to go ahead and look over, and it helps them with their journey. Okay.
So she said for pre and post op as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you need everything that your body normally needs. Okay, you need to cut out all the junk food, cut out the high sugars, high carbs. Get rid of the alcohol, quit smoking. Don't get rid of the marijuana. Get rid of get yourself into a healthy state. That's what you need. All right, your body needs every chance that you can give it to have a very healthy and successful recovery.
I was talking to Granville about this, and he was saying, when you make some changes and you'll notice some results, you got to ask yourself, what if you made all the changes? And you say, well, I stopped drinking sodas, but then you stop drinking sodas, but you still drink alcohol, you still eat processed food, you still have, eat a lot of sugary foods. So those are, just because you stop one thing, if you're damaging yourself in other ways, then it's like, what's the point? You're only getting limited results. So the question is, what if you eliminate all the bad things? And you know what the bad things are. I mean, Kale mentioned a lot of the common things that people talk about. You already know that. We already know this stuff. There's no guessing. Is smoking bad for me? I don't know. Should I quit that? Of course it's bad for you. Of course it's bad for you. Should you be eating all the sugar? Of course not. You know this. You know these bad things. Should you be drinking soda? Of course not. So stop asking these questions that you already know answers to, and just start taking action. Eliminate those things from your life. All of them. Not just some, all of them. Because I promise you, there's plenty of good stuff for you to eat that is healthy, that tastes good, that is filling, that you can eat healthy all the time and not feel like you're lacking anything. You don't have to feel like you're lacking. The problem is you got in this mindset that like I have to eat chocolate, or I have to eat cookies, or I have to drink alcohol, or I have to do it, and your mind is in a pattern, and it just keeps craving the same thing. Once you get rid of the stuff, you'll stop craving it.
So that's interesting for you, right? For the rest of us out there, I love chocolate. I love cookies. I love cake. I love it all, right? And so what I've decided in my life is I don't want to commit to just getting rid of all of that stuff. What I want to do is I want to limit my intake. And so I've decided that the majority of the time I'm going to stay pretty healthy and eat pretty clean. And then on special occasions, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy those. And you know what? I'll tell you right now, when I do partake in the Cold Stone Creamery ice cream, right, with my kids, by the way, I let my kids, all three of them, get their type, right, whatever they want, and then I just take scoops of theirs, and that limits my portions.
Dad tags.
Okay, so I limit my exposure to that, and that's the way that I can still enjoy it, but yet I don't, I'm not overindulging, and that's a way of controlling it.
So let me kind of give a caveat, because I'm not perfect either, and I do indulge in things. However, when I was in the process of losing everything and getting to my, we'll call it like steady state where I want to be, that's when you got to be clean. You got to eat clean, and if you do that, so like I have people tell me like, oh, I stopped drinking soda and I lost 20 pounds, but they're still doing all the other bad stuff. So what if you stopped all the bad stuff? You would lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds like that. It'd be so quick. It's so quick. The things that are slowing you down is yourself. Mm-hmm. So when you keep making the mistakes and you keep doing the things that you know are bad for you, it's slowing the process down. And then that's when you say it's so difficult. It's not that difficult. It really is not. It's just you have to make the decision and commit to it.
Yep.
And then hold yourself accountable. Because today you might say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this stuff, and then tomorrow you're like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. That's the hard part. That's when you get to that point when, oh my God, I'm so hungry. That's when you have to push through.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's a challenge. But you have to make the decision, and if you make that decision, then you have to start holding yourself accountable. And that's why the group is awesome, because when you have other people around you that are trying to do the same thing, they hold you accountable. They're like, hey, you're not supposed to be eating bad. I thought you wanted to be healthy. So you gotta have someone in the back of your head, and then eventually, those other people, it becomes the voice in your head. And so Granville was saying the other day that he was hungry, and he thought that he should eat. So he started walking towards Wendy's, and there was a voice in his head like, hey, what the hell are you doing? You shouldn't eat. You shouldn't eat at Wendy's. Yep. So he listened to it. He listened to that voice, and he didn't do it. And so that's what you got to do. You got to develop the voice in your head to tell you the good things, instead of the voice saying, oh my God, we're so hungry, we need that Snickers bar, or we need that alcohol, or we need that ice cream. You got to stop listening to that voice and develop a better voice. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Saxenda? I don't even know if that's spelled right, but I'm not sure what that is. Misha?
I got another question. What if you live in Texas? So most of our clientele actually fly in. Vegas has done a really good job of making it very accessible and easy to fly into Vegas so that you can lose money at the casinos. Go figure, right? So it's cheap, and there's plenty of hotels, and most people fly in and make reservations at a hotel. They end up staying for a couple of days in a hotel. Some people come out a couple of days earlier, see the sights, have their procedure, and then a couple of days later fly home. So that's what happens if you live in Texas.
Yeah, candy lover and Tati. Okay, how do you prevent loose skin without a tummy tuck?
So we talked about that earlier in the video. Just real quick, your skin has a memory. Okay, so if you do your part in the post-op care with wearing your compression and making sure that you're trying to stay nice and upright, you're not sitting down, you're eating good foods. For some people, they might need some lymphatic massages. Your skin is going to retract really, really well. Okay, and we've had some pretty amazing results. So we don't cut anybody. We allow your body to heal naturally. And look at some of this stuff.
She wasn't a good candidate, but look at those results, right?
I mean, so I've showed this picture to a lot of people, and my barber actually said, "Oh my gosh, she looks pregnant in this one," and then she goes into this she looks like a video vixen, like
right.
One of those girls that shows up in all of the rat videos.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. Well done on this one.
Yeah. Look at that. Some people are like, oh, that's a different person, but look at the tattoo. The tattoo's the same.
And you know what? And you guys have access to all of these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically on the website, or they're on the Facebook page, and so you can see it. And these pictures are not doctored. They're the patient's pictures that they took and they sent them to us.
Right. So you'll notice like some of these pictures, the lighting sucks. The background, like they got garbage in the background. Like that's their pictures, their house or wherever they took it. It's not ours. And again, you'll notice that what they're wearing, the clothes that they're wearing is not the same clothes. It's different than when you see before and afters of some of these other clinics where it's a very sterile environment. They're wearing these like paper gowns, and background's perfect, lighting's perfect. They photoshopped it so it looks perfect. That's not what you're gonna find here. This is real stuff, real results, real people. And then if you're not part of the private Facebook group, you should definitely get onto the private Facebook group, and you can connect with these individuals. All these pictures that you see behind us are from the group, so you'll just do a search through the group. You'll find the pictures of that individual, and you can actually message them directly. Now, whether they answer or not, that's up to them. Okay. Oh, nice, Latoya. Let's see. Okay, so you said I completed the juice detox and helped boost my metabolism, and sea salt flush to help remove toxins in the digestive system. I drink fresh squeezed lemon water and a pinch of cayenne pepper. Man, you're killing it. Appetite suppressant is naturally the most important thing is the person's mindset. Yeah, Latoy, you've been listening to everything. I'm so excited. You know, we talked about the juice cleanse and detox a lot before the holidays, so I'm really happy to hear that you did that stuff, and now you're an example, and now you are a mentor for other people, the other individuals that you know are looking into the same type of stuff. You can share that information with them, so that's really cool. What's up, Elsie?
So Blooming Floor asks, how far along are you guys booked until? So one of the most interesting things about what's going on in our society right now is you've heard of, you know, what's going on with the airline cancellations because they don't have staff or whatever fuel. So you know what? Send in your pictures. Let us take a look at them. Let us look at you or look at your photos. We'll talk to you. Sometimes, you know, on an outside chance, we might be able to sneak you in. You know, next month, the month after that. It just depends. It's just there's so much volatility in travel right now that we do, you know, experience some cancellations. So don't be discouraged. I know that there's some guys that say, oh, you know, Dr. So-and-so is booked all the way up until 2025 or whatever. I don't really believe that, to be honest with you. I don't. Unless he's doing.
It doesn't make sense. Why would you? I don't know why you would ever like allow people to wait that long. Because I mean, you'd figure out like I'm a business and I know consumers want things. So if I'm backed up that long, I'm going to hire more employees and try and figure out how to fulfill. Right.
I totally agree. Or at least expedite a lot of the processes.
Right.
I mean, my thought initially was, what is he doing? Every one of these by hand, right? Like, you know, only himself in the office, right? Taking all the phone calls and doing all the paperwork.
Right.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense. So, you know, long story short, give us a call the girls, call the office, send in your photos, and we'll do our very best to try and get you in as quick as we can. Hay una chica que habla español, dice, después de la cirugía se tiene que hacer masajes. Bueno, so she's asking, after the surgery, does she have to do massages? Bueno, eso es una de las cosas que recomendamos. Todos no tienen que hacerlos, pero lo que encontramos en nuestra práctica es un beneficio grande y pueden ayudarte con el procesamiento de sanarse. So I just said, not everybody needs to get them, but what we found is they help, and they help with the healing procedure.
Yeah.
Or healing process, I should say. Sorry, my Spanish isn't very good.
You know, a lot of people really like the lymphatic massages, so it's you know, I've been doing liposuction for over 15 years now, and there's a long time that wasn't the thing. You know, nobody got massages after these procedures, and so it definitely can be done without them. However, you know, maybe it's better. I mean, that's I guess only time will tell with that.
So punk ass 909, I had to say that name. We talked on the phone. She's saying she's here in Vegas. She's excited for her procedure tomorrow. We can't wait. We'll see you there. Get some rest. Eat something tomorrow morning. Drink some water. Bring a swimsuit. We're gonna have a great time.
Punk ass 909. That's Southern California. Okay, wow, she looks good. I would have thought you would need a tummy tuck. That's what's so crazy, Danielle.
So Danielle, let me tell you something. When I started with Trevor about 5 or 6 years ago, when I initially was with him, you know, we would look at some of these bellies, and he would tell me, nah, you know, listen, that's a little too big. You know, they're gonna have a lot of excess skin hanging. Probably they wouldn't be a very good candidate. And then 6 years later, you know, I started doing some bigger patients and having some pretty amazing results. He started doing a lot of them and started having amazing results. And we've come together, and the practice has changed, right? So if everybody was taught one way and nobody ever deviated from that one way, how do you know it's possible? You don't. And so we were looking at a case today with a very large panis. I'm talking a very gigantic panis, and we're discussing techniques on, well, what if we attacked it this way? What if we attacked it that way? We have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, but you know, our evolution in how we practice has benefited us significantly, and we think that we can continue to improve, and we hope we continue to improve, right? Because it's going to be a benefit for everybody, all of our clients out there.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been, I do things in a contrarian fashion. So I know that other people get results by doing things the same way that everyone else does things, and they get the same results. But I tend to wonder if we do things differently, and sometimes in the exact opposite of what the common belief is that maybe we can get totally different results. And in many cases, it might be really good, but in some cases, it won't be good. So this is somewhere where it's calculated risk. We're trying to figure out new ways to get better results, and that's just what we do. We're constantly trying to improve, constantly trying to get better. So and when you hear us talking 2, 3, 4 years from now, we're going to be saying different stuff, and some of the things that we are saying today may be obsolete. Which ironically is, in school, medicine changes so fast. The recommendations are changing constantly. And the only reason that happens is because you got new people studying and trying to change stuff and trying to get better, which is good. Change
But
is good.
it's often hard to implement a lot of those changes, right? So here's a question by Makeup by Paulina SR. What do you suggest with somebody that has high blood pressure who wants the surgery? I mean, this is one of those procedures that is going to decrease the amount of volume in your wherever we're going to take the fat out, and it's going to give your heart a break. You're not going to have to pump as much blood to, it's not going to have to work as hard. And once you start looking better, feeling better, and your energy level goes up, your cardiovascular system is going to improve. And so oftentimes we've seen patients that have had some of these underlying disease states like diabetes, hypertension, and cholesterol, and after having the surgery and doing some lifestyle modifications, they've been able to go off of their medications under the supervision of their doctor. I will put that caveat in there. So this is one of those things that can help improve your overall health if you allow it to.
Yeah. I think some things that people don't realize is that things like high blood pressure, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of something else that's going on. And so when you start addressing, a lot of doctors say, oh, you have high blood pressure. Instead of addressing what's causing the blood pressure, we're just going to give you this pill to lower the blood pressure. And this is the way modern medicine has worked. And then their hope is that you're just going to keep taking the pills, keep doing the stupid shit that you've been doing that causes the high blood pressure, and just take the pill for the rest of your life. The drug companies absolutely love that. They make billions of dollars, and I own stock in them, which is, I got to make some money off of them too. But it's same thing with like McDonald's. They know they're giving you bad stuff, but they make money on these things that they give you. So just because you think they taste good, or you believe that these things are easy for you, just taking pills is not the easy way. It's not the cheap way. It's not the best way. If the problems, look, I can tell you this: if you get in better health, a lot of these problems will disappear. A lot of these symptoms will disappear. Your diabetes is in many cases, it's a symptom of the poor lifestyle choices that you made. Your high blood pressure is in many cases a symptom of the bad habits that you have. And so try to figure out what are the bad habits. And again, we all have lots of them. We all do. So it's a matter of systematically picking out the ones that you have and eliminating them. All of them, as many as you can. Not just some of them, as many as you can. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be the rest of your life. You try and eliminate all the negative stuff. And if you're able to do that at a younger age, you're going to be able to live longer. And the quicker you do it, the bigger and faster the change is.
Okay, Aguilar dice, mi cuerpo es muy similar a de su cuñada. Yo vivo en Utah y he estado buscando en dónde hacer mi procesamiento y definitivamente sus resultados son sorprendentes. Well, gracias. So what she's saying is her body shape is very similar to what my sister-in-law's was, and she has been actively looking for a place where she can get this treatment done, and she's super excited with the results. Look really amazing, is what she said. So
awesome.
Bueno, gracias por esas palabras.
Cool. So just to point out is we show a lot of different body types here, because we know that it's important for you to see what's possible for your body type. And so I know, like this one, for example, A lot of girls her size believe that they have to get a tummy tuck because that's what they've been told. And we show this stuff just so you can realize that you don't have to do that. There's other options, and not only are there other options, these are freaking awesome options. I mean, you can get this. This is no tummy tuck scar. The recovery, she's up and walking. She walks out of our office.
This is 1 week post-op.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody's results and everybody's, recovery is going to be the same, but I mean, this is pretty amazing. And if you guys actually saw this body habitus in real life, you would be amazed, because we really went to work on her, and we knew that she could tolerate it. We verified that she was healthy, and we really got aggressive. And look, frowny face, smiley face.
Frowny face. Okay. What are these stars on Facebook? Have you heard of them?
Oh, those are the new things where I think you actually get paid something. Yeah. It's how influencers now get paid. I think those stars are kind of like Facebook's thing of cryptocurrency.
So like I pay someone, if I give them a star, it's like I'm paying?
I buy stars for maybe $1, then I give you the star.
Huh.
But maybe you have $1. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Whatever that means. Send me some stars.
Yeah, send me some stars. So I can cash out these stars.
So J McFar 901 says, "Wow, I never caught y'all in live. I'm having lipo on April in Michigan. Paid the non-refundable deposit. I'm already researching doctors for a revision just in case."
Oh, dude, don't get yourself in. If you already think you need a revision, don't get it. Just blow the money and go somewhere that you're gonna get the results. I hate seeing people do this. It's so difficult to do revisions and fix the mistakes that other practitioners make. It's not worth it to you. I promise. Whatever it's, 3,000, 5,000. Just don't waste your money and mess up your body. Because it's not like you can just undo the scar tissue that's formed from a bad procedure. It's not like that.
So we had like one of the most tragic cases ever. This young, I think she was probably in her late 20s. She calls us up, and we get her on the schedule. Come to find out, she went and had a supposed abdominal 360 in New York somewhere, like a year before,
Right.
And paid, I don't know, I want to say she paid like 9 or 10K for it. And when she walked into the office, like Trevor and I both looked at each other like, well, what did they do?
Yeah.
Did they take anything out? She goes, well, they put me on the table. I was down there for like 30 minutes, and then like I was done.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I've never been able to accomplish an abdominal 360 in 30 minutes. That's just me.
No, that's I felt so bad for, like, nobody wants that to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, if you don't come to us, that's fine, but go to places that have that proven results. Proven results that you can, like, for us, you can actually contact these individuals. So it's not like even if we Photoshop any of this stuff, you can actually contact these individuals. They'll send you their own updated photos.
Yeah.
So like, don't trust us. So, but find somebody that you have to have a track record. These people, these other doctors that are offering this for like super cheap. There's usually a reason why they're offering it for cheap, because that's the only way they can get you through the door. So unless they have some type of proven track record, then you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, and the best way to have them prove it is ask to see their before and after photos,
right,
that are non-doctored. Okay, non-doctored. Keep that in mind. And we make sure that we give you access to all of our previous clients in the Facebook group, in the support group, and you can have access to all of the photos, and you can contact them directly. So, don't believe us. Believe our previous clients. So this is 7 weeks afterwards. Okay. So again, look at the size difference. Okay. What I want to know here is, what I want you guys to see here is, this is flat. Okay. Her skin is still retracting and she's still healing. That whole process takes the better part of a year in total. Okay. So, we're not going to tell you that you're going to have your procedure and it's going to be flat a week later, and then you can go get married and everything's going to be amazing. Okay? you're going to have a recoup period. You're going to have a healing period, all right? But this is still pretty amazing for 7 weeks. And I like the insight that she had. She took pictures on a bunch of different bikinis before, so that when she hits these different stages, she can show the results, and you can see that, yep, this is the same bikini.
This guy also, or I'm not sure if it's a guy, but so the doctor I picked was, I see, the only reason is I went to 4 doctors and straight up they said that you needed a tummy tuck because I have a frowny face, belly button, and lipo would make my stomach hang over my belly and crotch. So if you look at any of these pictures, that's clearly not the case. So,
I mean, what about her?
right, they're lying to you is what I'm saying. It's total BS, and it doesn't happen.
So maybe they're not lying. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe their progression on how they've done these techniques has not evolved, and they don't, and maybe they're just not as advanced in the techniques that we have. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're fresh out of school and that's what they teach in school, and so that's what they've stayed with, right? Because they don't like to venture out, because this is what we were told to do. However, as we're showing, you can have pretty amazing results without doing a tummy tuck.
So then he goes on to say the doctor it picked was the only one that said he'd benefit from a tummy tuck, but he felt confident that he could get some good results. And so I guess it's a different opinion, right? So what I'm telling you is you don't need a tummy tuck, and I know I'm confident because I've done it thousands of times that you can get the results. And so it's not that I think you can, I know it because I've done it on lots of people. So the skin does not ever, never, ever, ever does it hang down further when you do liposuction. And this is simple physics if you think about it. The only reason the skin hangs and sags is, one, obviously it's loose, but you got to have weight. You got to have mass that's being pulled down with gravity. And so if you reduce the mass, the weight that's pulling down, it can't pull down further. It's impossible. It will never, ever, ever happen. It's a law of nature. The only thing that you can still have loose skin, but if you remove the volume, it has to bounce back to some degree. It has to be, because it's less weight, less mass hanging down. It's just, and then when you have people that are telling you this stuff, that it's going to be this and this and this, that it's going to hang down further, they just don't know. Like as Kale was saying, in many cases they've never pushed the envelope. They've never done something different than what they were taught in school. And if you do that, then you're going to only get the same results that people before you got. And so I like to believe that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So all the giants in the past that have done things in the past, I learn from them, and then I go stepping above them. I go beyond them. Everything that they've learned and their experience, I take that experience and I try and expand and grow based on the knowledge that they've created. And in many doctors, many practitioners for that matter, they just keep doing the same stuff that's been done in the past. So he's saying with the tumescent, we do use a tumescent liposuction. So tumescent refers to being done under local anesthesia. And then we do use a laser. Smart Lipo is the brand of laser that we utilize. What's up, Raquel? Happy New Year. Okay, so Brenda says that you're looking to get more done. What do you need to do? And how long before you go back to work? So the next step is to get your consultation. There's a link up in the post here on Facebook. You click on the link, you submit your photos, and we do the consultation. Once you get your quote, you place a deposit. The deposit locks in the date and time for your schedule. Then you make your travel arrangements. You come out for your procedure and get skinny, and you live a happy life. Sounds so simple, right? Punk Ash, he says, so excited and nervous.
This one has just some bad lighting, but this one was another one of my favorite cases, just because we took out such an amazing amount of volume, and she was hilarious because you'll see instantaneous results. You'll see your body shrink before your eyes. And then once we put the post-op garment on her, she literally walked out of the room, and it looked like she had just a hop in her step. And she looked and she goes, "Who's this chick?" And it was like so rewarding to see this excitement for what is in her future. She's killing it, I think, in grad school right now. I'm not sure how much she has left to finish, but we wish her well. So Go kill it.
Hola, buenas tardes. A mí me gustaría hacerme la lipo.
Yeah.
What did I just say?
So she's saying, good afternoon, and she would like to do liposuction.
Okay.
Yeah. Bueno, tiene que contactarnos por nuestro email
Consultation.
o fijar una consultación por este link que está abajo. Nos envía sus fotos de su cuerpo para que podamos llamarte y hablar lo que nos quieres hacer.
Okay, Millie says, I've had 3 C-sections and I'm scared that I will do this and my stomach won't be flat. So, as I was saying previously with the C-section scars, and all scars for that matter, we have ways to break up the scar tissue underneath the tissue, which allows for things to lay flat. Look, we've done thousands of women who have had C-section scars and dealt with their issues. I'm sure that your issue is nothing different than the ones that we've done in the past. So I'm sure that we can help you out. You got to trust the process, and we've done this thousands of times, and it's just something that we can continuously improve and get better at. And the C-section scars it's a problem that we've faced so many times that we've worked out a lot of different techniques and things to face whatever issue that you have specifically, because all the scars are a little bit different, but we get you flat, we get it smooth, and the scar is still there, but it looks a lot better when it's flat.
Listen, if there's one thing that we can promise, is we promise that we will get the fat out of the front of your abdomen, okay? I mean, Trevor is way too stubborn. I myself am stubborn. You can ask my wife. And when you're on the table and we're working on you, we go to work, and we really make sure that there's not a portion of fat that we leave in there. We really try and get everything that we can, okay?
You're welcome, Brenda. Can you read me?
Maybe
Did we miss some? Millie, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I saw your comments, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. I ain't got the $ to keep going back and forth. LOL. I don't really know what that means.
So don't go back and forth. Come out one time and let's do the front of your abdomen and let's take care of you. Send some pictures in. We'll give you a call and we'll talk to you and we'll come up with a game plan on how we think we can best treat you.
How long is the recovery? The recovery is going to be variable for each individual. You're going to be sore, swollen, bruised afterwards, but most people are functional, meaning you're able to get up and walk around and move around. So if you have a sedentary type job, in most cases, you're able to go back within 3 to 5 days, sometimes even sooner. So you're talking about you want to do liposuction and a BBL, or you have to come back for a second round. Well, that's just dependent on the individual. So we're going to do the max that we can do specifically for you. However, if you're larger, then we have limitations. It's a safety issue. So and sometimes we have to break the 360 up into 2 separate procedures because you have so much fat on the front of your belly that exhausts what we can do and the limitations. And the reality here is that this is a procedure. What do they call it? It's a choice. It's not a necessity. You don't have to do it. So because you're choosing to do it, there's no reason to do something like this and put yourself at such a high risk that you could potentially lose your life. So we're not looking to put you at that higher risk. We're looking to create these procedures that are big enough to make huge dramatic change, but at the same time keeping you safe so you can come back again.
Really, one of the things that I tell everybody is we can do what your body will allow us to do, okay? So the amount of fat that we can remove is what's safe for you and your body and how your body responds. How much fat we can inject into the butt, that depends on how much your body will accept and what we think is safe. And so, give us a call and we can discuss all of your concerns and make you feel, at least give you all of the information that we have, okay? All right, and we can make sure that we give you an amazing experience.
All right, last question here. I don't even know what the answer to this is, but what is a limo 360.
What is
you
it?
know?
Limo 360. So Brenda, what she's referring to is just Lipo 360. So that's
Oh.
just the area all the way around.
I didn't even
right?
think about that.
Yeah. So Limo 360, I'm not sure, might be a brand new limo that's coming out.
Right.
But Lipo 360 is referred to an abdominal 360 where we do fat removal all the way around 360 degrees.
So the benefits of the 360 lipo is a couple of benefits. So we're going to make your belly flat. And one of the big things is like if your breasts are here and your belly's sticking out further than there, we want to change that proportion. So your belly is your breasts are sticking out further than your belly. So that's one of the big benefits. Also the fold in the front, we want to eliminate the fold. On the sides, we want to create that hourglass figure. So create the shape of the sides there. And then also to complete the 360, we go all the way across the lower back, which creates that butt. You can see here from the side view that when we take the fat out of the lower back, it makes that butt pop out. And this was no BBL, this was only liposuction. So in many cases, many of you who believe that you need a fat transfer, when in fact you don't need a fat transfer, but instead you need better liposuction. And the liposuction in the right areas, which allows for your body to pop where we want it.
Yeah, or liposculpting or whatever, acronym that they use. So Jay McFar, give us a call, send us your photos. We'd be happy to absolutely answer all of your questions. The bottom line is, like Trevor said, what we consider an area is about the size of a hand. Now, if you look to the side of some people, they have a belly that goes way out there. So we have to consider everybody individually and make sure that we give you the treatment and the options that's right for you, okay?
Millie, that is Candy Lover up there in the previous picture as well. So she just mentioned that. I think you recognized her.
Millie said she's been following you for a long time.
Yeah, she said she saw her live. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on here. I hope we answered your questions, brought some value. When you're ready to change your life, the next step is getting that consultation. On Facebook, you can click on the link. Instagram is up in our profile. If you guys don't find it or whatever case, you can always go to our website. But to get the consultation, we'll be able to give you a quote, an accurate quote, and we get you scheduled from there. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.